video, but we are recording now. Times you've been gracious enough. It's been my fault. I appreciate you being with me. I am speaking with Demetrius Smith, the ex-tour manager and personal assistant to R Kelly. I have you live on the phone, so let's just get into it. There's a lot of stuff going on. I want you to introduce the name of your book and just give a brief background as to your relationship to R Kelly, please.
Hey, good morning, Ned. How you doing? Thank you for inviting me on the show. Again, my name is Demetrius Smith. I was R. Kelly's former personal assistant and tour manager. I worked with R. Kelly from 1985 to 1995. I worked with R. Kelly during the early years of his career. 10 years ago, I released a book entitled The Man Behind the Man, Looking from the Inside Out. That book was released, and the media knew about it.
Okay.
And it describes my relationship with Robert beginning in his early years. I was an entertainer when I met Robert.
Mm-hmm.
I was a singer, and I was on like a break for the end of the winter time because it was hard traveling on the highways in Chicago in the winter in the back of a U-Haul truck. So we took a break, and I went to work with my friend Cliff, and he taught me how to be an anchor man. And we videotaped different talent shows.
Okay.
This particular night, we went to Kenwood Academy where I saw Robert Kelly on stage, a shy, bashful kid, and he performed an original song which captivated the audience and me.
So that's where you met R. Kelly. Yes. At the time he was Robert, and he was a kid. About how old was he at that time?
He was 16 at that time.
Okay, so you made a couple points that I just want to go back on. You said you wrote your book 10 years ago.
Yes.
So this is not. So I saw you in the Lifetime docuseries Surving R. Kelly. So your book, because I've read your book, details some of the things that the girls are talking about now. So you came out with some of these allegations years ago, a decade ago.
Yes, I did. I was pretty much one of the first ones that exposed. Well, when it was presented to me that R. Kelly was really having affairs with a young girl, it was Tiffany Hawkins, and
okay.
I took Tiffany to an attorney because I don't do police. I was younger then too. This was all a new experience to me.
So I'm gonna stop you right there, Demetrius, because I want everybody to really follow this timeline. When you wrote your book, you weren't writing about R. Kelly. It was an autobiography about your life, and it happened to include or be connected to R. Kelly, right? So this wasn't, when you were writing about some of these sexcapades and all this, you weren't really doing a tell-all about him. You were just talking about your life.
Well, yes. When I left R. Kelly in 95, it was a difficult time for me. And I left him, I was broke. When I left him, I had 4 children that my sisters were keeping for me while I worked with him. I was a single parent. And when I left R. Kelly, it was time to go home and make a home for my children that we never had. And
how could you be broke working with R. Kelly?
Robert Kelly didn't pay anyone. Robert Kelly he didn't treat his people good. He didn't treat us good. In the beginning, we worked without money. I worked with him 5.5 years before he even got a deal. And that was my own sacrifices. I began to put him in. I had a band put together for him that included his brother Bruce. Killer was supposed to be, one of the acts, and we got that going, and it seemed like it had great potential because I wanted to put Robert on the road to do the military circuit. I wanted him to work to earn his money, and what happened was I took him to people that were sponsoring me when I was singing. And I introduced him to them, and they took a liking to him instantly and began to finance us, putting them in the studio, and a lot of that interfered with my plan. They were supposed to have been supporting me And I took what I did to make Robert happy, but instead,
and you
they wanted
pushed him
to
out
take
there
it
to
over.
be the star. So were you
they
there?
Wanted to run it. Yeah.
Were you there when with that first big break with Natalie Cole? Were you part of that era? Okay, so tell us about that beginning of that first experience. So that beginning of the making of R. Kelly.
Well, again, this came after. Oh, that came right after I took them to the people that sponsored me. Again, those things are written in my book.
Of course,
in sequence. And that came after, because during that period when my sponsors tried to take over what I was doing, we fell out. And when we fell out, they had began giving Robert money. They had began just catering to Robert, and nobody else around him was getting anything, and we weren't working. Our work was Robert Kelly, because I was hustling to make money with Robert, because he was a kid that didn't know. He wasn't going out here to hustle. He just played the piano, and he sang, and he was bashful, and he stayed in the house. When I came to get Robert, it brought him out. He began to stand up. He began to mold himself. After I think he looked up to me like a big brother, like a father,
big brother
with a big uncle image.
When you say you started to mold him, tell me some of the things that you did, because you said he was bashful. Like what? Bashful how? He wouldn't talk to people. Like what? Let us know.
He wouldn't really talk to people. Robert was super silly. Robert was super silly. I think that he was I think he was a little bit frightened of people in the early days. I think that I built his courage. I think that I helped him with courage. And once he began to see how powerful, how big of an effect his music had on people, then he began to stand up. He began to step out. And every time he would perform, I'm telling him how to do it, drill him. Man, you got to put this in there. Don't be, But see, then Robert caught an imagination of his own, just like he writes songs. He doesn't read and write, but he writes songs. And so that means his imagination just blows up once he takes something in. And and that's
the fact that he couldn't read and write, do you think that caused him to be kind of bashful and insecure? And when you came along, you kind of gave him confidence? And
I think that. I believe that. I believe that that's how it is. I believe that Robert is a clone of a man to me regarding who he is. And now after my sponsor's situation failed, it drew me to the streets. It took me back to the streets because I had to feed myself. I didn't have kids then. It was just me. And I put those years in Robert. And when that failed, I couldn't take care of Robert. We can go to Subway, but Robert, I couldn't make enough money being with Robert and get him to the next level. So I hit the streets and I began to resort to my learned behavior as a kid, growing up in the streets of Chicago on the west side, and Cabrini Green, Henry Horn, and K-Town. And I had a street image that got money, so I went out and I made money, and I went to jail after that, and I actually went to rehab treatment.
But we want to know what some of the things that you saw when you were with Robert in that camp. There are a lot of things coming out now, and I know because you and I've had discussions at length, and I want you to clear up some things. During the docuseries on Lifetime, it came out, or it sounded as if you forged a document. Can you talk about that? Because I think people believe that you forged something. So yes, let us know about that.
Thank you for asking that. I did not forge any documents. What happened was Lifetime again. Me and Lifetime talked about 3.5 hours, talking about Robert's beginning, going over my book. They called me because of my book. And they threw questions at me, and I was fumbling with words. And as you see, I'm talking a little faster, and a little slower now, because I want to make sure my words are correct. Because my words get twisted so fast, and it's just a shame how things get twisted and how I'm portrayed.
Well, people can twist. The media will twist words.
Yes,
I mean, you're talking to somebody who's not.
Let me answer that question, okay? And that was about the forging. I did not forge anything. I did not put my signature on anything. What I did was I didn't drive them. They followed me to a location, that they didn't know where that. So they followed me in the car to a place where Aliyah went in and got identification. That identification got her marriage license. I did not force anything.
Okay, so stop right there. You were there. Did Aliyah go willingly? I mean, do you believe this is something she wanted?
I believe Aliyah was a child, and I believe that Aliyah was confused, and I believe that what happened should not have happened. And
that's a great answer.
Again, I need to go back and if I could turn back the hands of time, I think better today, and I think better today.
Yes.
And had I made a different decision, I think it would be different. So that pains me, and that's that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you
there was a lot of people
forgive
involved.
myself and all that. I have to.
You have to forgive yourself.
But it doesn't stop hurting, okay? It doesn't stop hurting.
I know.
Tell me to forgive myself. Don't tell me that anymore.
Okay. Okay.
People upset me with that because it don't stop hurting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like a painful memory, Yeah.
I mean, it hurts that I didn't make the right decision. It hurts because maybe that's why all this is happening,
Do you think do you think you could have stopped it though, to be honest? Look back at what was going on. Could you have stopped it?
Yeah, I could have whooped his ass. See, I asked whooping to change this thing, man.
Yeah.
But when you let people just go by and go by and go by, they grow into that ugly
monster.
They grow in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what has happened. Robert Kelly was a sweet kid. Robert Kelly is a fun kid. Robert Kelly is he's super silly, but at the same time he's gentle and he's kind. R. Kelly is a monster.
Yeah.
He has grown. He has grown inside that kid, man, and that's another story. Come on, girl.
It sounds like you guys are talking about two people. When I hear everybody who knows R. Kelly, they talk about Rob and R. Kelly, and one person sounds like a very humble, gentle, wonderful person, and the other person sounds like a demon.
He is. He is. And people don't understand that. And I'm looking at the Lifetime series, and I'm not condoning Robert Kelly for his actions. I'm not trying to come to his rescue for what he's done with Tiffany or what he's done with Aliyah and that video that I saw. However, I can't stand on Robert when it comes to the video of Sparkles' niece because they found
you got to go back. You said Tiffany. What happened with Tiffany?
Tiffany, I didn't explain what Tiffany.
I know it's in your book. I know it's in your book, but go give us a little detail because people are gonna go by the book. But tell us a little bit about Tiffany. Mm-hmm.
Tiffany Hawkins was one of Aliyah's background dancers and singers. However, R. Kelly knew Tiffany before Aliyah, but I found that out later. That was not circulating when I was with him. When I got with Robert in the years once we got the deal, then we put together the group Public Announcement. This is after MGM. MGM was Robert's first group. Then Public Announcement. Now we put together Public Announcement and the Girl Dancers. The dancers came after Public. But anyway, the Girl Dancers and Public Announcement. Once we put them together, I forgot the question you asked me.
Tiffany Hawkins. She was one of the dancers.
Yes. They used to come and practice to be background vocals and dancers for Aliyah. That's when he started. That's when I started noticing them. Coming around, and they used to come around and be at the Robert's apartment building. He had a dance studio there. That's where they would be when I came. And they would be in there practicing, and their parents, grown folks, would be there too. I don't know who was who.
Oh,
I just saw little girls dancing, and I saw grown folks there. So I'm assuming that's their parents.
So it was supervision. It wasn't just like these girls were with him alone. Their parents and other people were around.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Now, when I would leave that section, because Robert didn't need no monitoring when it came to rehearsing.
Yes.
Robert was he created the dance steps, he created the vocals, he created the attitude. Once he began to come into his own, then it was not, everything was new to him, and he was excited about what he was building inside of himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he grew in everything just as he did in his music, and his confidence had just come all the way up. He just knew, because I kept him knowing, man, I would take him places when he was little, when he was 16, 17 years old, take him everywhere with me and have his piano with him, and I'll stop at picnics. We'll stop downtown at different bars and in the evening time, because he was young, he couldn't get in the clubs, but I would go in the hotels that had piano bars, and I would sit him down in there and he'd sing, and we put our cup up there and we get money, and we just was always busy making money and portraying and advertising him. Mm-hmm.
Demetrius, I'm going to take you back to Tiffany Hawkins. What happened with Tiffany Hawkins? How old was she? Give us her age and give us what happened.
Not sure how old Tiffany was, because
approximately.
I didn't really know them.
Okay.
Approximately 16, 17.
Okay.
Could have been
Underage.
18.
Okay, could have
been 18. You see, at that
what
time,
happened?
because I didn't know.
Okay. We're going to keep you on task here. What happened?
Okay, Tiffany Hawkins was the first girl. Again, she was Aliyah's background vocals, and Tiffany wanted a career in this. When Tiffany found out that Robert did something with Aliyah, I think I forget which one was first. It hurt Tiffany.
That's fine. Yeah.
She thought that she was Robert's girlfriend, and I had no idea this was going on. And I had seen Tiffany, yes, again, but didn't have any idea that how long Robert had knew her. None of that. Okay, I used to see them girls, little girls, young girls, come to wherever we rehearsed at, because we rehearsed on Lakeshore Drive at the park, and Tiffany came to me. She called me one day. I was working, and she called me, and she was crying, and she was totally upset, and she worried me. And I asked her where she was, and it was a life and death situation at that moment with Tiffany. Again, those things, I make long story short, because everything I talk about,
it's in the book.
I wrote about.
It's in the book. Yes.
And so Tiffany, I went to her, and she was in a hysterical state. I convinced her to believe in me, and she did. And what I convinced her to do was, she told me that she didn't tell me exactly that Robert had touched her, but what she told me was that, she was upset and she was going to hurt herself, because she thought he loved her and he was doing this and that, and I was the one that his girlfriend. And I know she said that he touched her. Robert touched her. She said, I've been messing with Robert for a long time. I said, what? I said, girl, you don't got to do this to yourself. That's low down. You don't do that. Now, I got this person. You go talk to this person. And now she stopped to listen to me, because I was telling her how she could get some redemption from what she felt. And she listened to me, and I advised her to go to an attorney. She called me also, and I called Robert too, because this was unacceptable to me. So I called Robert and said, Robert, this girl here out here trying to hurt herself, man. What's going on?
What did he say?
And he said, man, where's she at? Man, bring her here, man. Bring her. He said, well, I'm not going to bring her there, man, because she's hysterical, man. You talking to her, come here. You talking to her, come here. And then I told her, exactly, I'm not biting punches. I said, well, he wants to talk to you. I let her talk to him. And then she talked to him. And I said, Tiffany, she wanted to go see him. I said, well, Tiffany, you really shouldn't be. This is the lady who I want you to go see. And she went down there with Robert. And that next morning, she went to see that lady. And what's her name? They called me. The attorneys called me and brought me down there, and they asked me what happened. I said, I didn't know. I told them that what Tiffany told me, and I thought that it was wrong. And that's why I brought it up. And from there, they called and they made deals. And I felt
it sounds like what's been reported is that she got a settlement from him. So there must have been something inappropriate.
I thought that was wrong. And then right after that, all this was going on during the Aliyah era with the marriage. And after that, I just didn't like Robert no more. I just didn't like him no more, and I left. We didn't get along with nothing, because he wouldn't listen to me about anything, and I left.
So people are asking, again, this is for you to tell. There's a lot more detail in your book, Man Behind the Man. So, of course, we want people to go out and purchase that. I will put a link in this video. But people want to know, did you see anything? So you're talking about Tiffany Hawkins.
No.
Let them explain to them how come you weren't aware of it, because so many people in his camp are saying, well, I didn't know what was going on. So give your perspective as to how you couldn't see that he had a fondness for young girls. Let us know.
Okay. We went to meet. You taking me into some details, and I can only describe your answer in 2 words, in 2 ways. Mm-hmm. Robert Kelly and R Kelly are 2 different people. Okay. 2 different. There's a spirit in a man that's evil, that's wicked. We all have a spirit in us that's evil and wicked. One is evil and one is good. Okay. Now, what you learn by ways of consequences and discipline. Now, when you get disciplined, when you're disciplined, when a person listens and does what their parents say, then they are disciplined in a way to help you to understand the demons in you, basically. When my mama used to make me stay in a room from doing something wrong and I couldn't go outside with my friends, it stopped me from doing the things that I was doing wrong because I wanted to go outside with my friends.
Yes.
When I committed crimes and I went to prison, I would come out of my cell thinking I was tough and I didn't want nobody to think I was weak, and I would fight. And then I would get beat up by the police or get into it with people all the time. Now, when I went back in my cell and they locked me up, I didn't want to go back out of my cell and get beat up by the police or get into it with guys. So I had to contain that evil in me, you see, so that I would not do that. And then I grew into goodness. Okay.
So bring this back to R Kelly. Bring this back to Robert.
I'm going there right now. Now, in regard to Robert, he has those same. You do too. You have those same 2 spirits in you of good.
I'm an angel. I'm good.
You're an angel because you went through. You learned by way of discipline, or you learned by way of consequences.
Oh yes.
Now,
Mom
Robert, the same thing. Mm-hmm. Robert has never had any discipline. Robert has never dealt with consequences. His consequences were, well, okay, man, we can work this out. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. And then he was seen when he was little, and people would give him what he wanted. And he, learning the way he is now, that he was raised in abuse, sexual abuse, that sex demon in him is strong. I mean, you got to go into biblical things when you talk about Robert right now. It's a biblical thing, and it sounds out of all because that's a spirit that's risen in him. And if you know the Bible, and the Bible says if the body is the temple of Christ, then when you have sex, and the Bible says it's better to marry than to burn in hell, because the more you have sex with different people, those spirits, you take on those spirits. Now, here's a kid that's been raised in abuse. And the only spirit he takes in is a sexual spirit from different people. From my understanding of what his brother said, that he was molested as a kid, and Robert said by people in my family. People. He didn't say one person. He said by people in my family. So that means several people he was being involved with. So that means he was being raised in abuse. He was being taught in abuse. So that demon in him grew strong like a wild weed, and now it's into a stump. Now it's like a tree. And it's hard to cut down. And see, I'm not defending Robert Kelly. Let me finish this. So I want you to understand. I'm not defending Robert Kelly for his actions with Tiffany, Aliyah, and that girl that he pissed on. He needs to go inside himself and take that demon out of him, because that was wrong. Now, the girls that were up there on that panel now, that's a different story. They walked in a pattern that they wanted. See, I've never known Robert Kelly to be abusive to a girl. To a woman.
Okay.
See, when I was with Robert Kelly,
you've never witnessed it.
No, I've never witnessed Robert shouting at a woman. Robert taught me how to be gentle to a woman. Robert Kelly taught me that. I watched Robert with women, Samada, Kim Delaney, several women. When I said on Lifetime that I used to fly people in and out, I was not talking about minors. And Lifetime placed my words where they wanted them to be. See, they placed me there as if I was there. I don't see why R. Kelly can't sue Lifetime, because they truly created this program to bring him down. And I'm not a
wait a minute. So you participated, and so now let's bring it back, because now you're saying you think that he can sue Lifetime for this? You participated in...
It's everything that's going against this man. They found him not guilty.
Okay.
Therefore, we're bringing that back up. That should not be able to be brought up. You've got girls up there violated agreements that they took money. Now they're violating that agreement. You got his wife up there saying she didn't know what kind of man he was when it all began with her.
Let's say, okay, let's clarify who the wife is. We're talking about Drea Kelly, right?
They're talking about Drea Kelly. And then you got another woman up there, 31 years old, or she was a woman when he met her, and she was a DJ or something. She knew he was married. That's a violation.
She wasn't, are you saying that she was with him while he was married? No. Oh. Okay.
Okay. Wow. This girl was the same girl that was on the I Wish video, and I went back to Robert on the I Wish video. My daughter was in that video. That's the girl who's braiding his hair.
You got all kind of history, yeah.
And like I say, his wife was one of the first ones that, I mean, the way that Robert is, Robert became controlling. And I think that is because of his illiteracy and his abuse. We shape the man. Robert's characters, his stage presence is a lot of me. His music is all him. But the man that he is, we shaped him. I shaped him. Barry Hankerson shaped him. And everybody that softened him, that didn't discipline him, that let him get away with the things that he did to hurt them, we all shaped the monster that he is.
That's what I was going to say. People allowed him, not necessarily that everybody aided him, but people gave him a pass because of who he was.
We all gave a pass. When and the people that he violated with me was the first one. That's when I first learned his character. But when the people that were supporting me came to Robert Kelly and they tried to take him over, they were giving him money, and then next thing you know, it's a fair going on in there. That should not have went on. Robert should have had a little more honor and morals to not mess with somebody or burn a bridge that was taking care of him. These people were supporting Robert, and he violated the man that messed with his wife. Okay.
So you told me
Robert, let me finish this. I have to not blame Robert for that because he was a minor himself. So that's another state of abuse that he grew up in.
You mentioned that to me, and that situation is in the book, correct? We're not even going to talk about that. We're going to let them go to the book. But what I will say is what you told me is that he was even abused or sexually, that women in their 20s, 27, was still having sex with him when he was 16. So his level of abuse has continued like for years.
Robert has been walking in abuse. His whole life is walking in abuse. I didn't know about what was going on in his household. I didn't know about what was going on in his household. I had heard that, but I didn't see that. And I think I had Robert feel confident when he was with me to know that I would protect him. I've been in places with Robert and people have been disrespectful, and I had to knock a few people out for Robert. You see?
Wow.
I was loyal to Robert.
What you mean disrespectful in terms of how?
Well, we would be somewhere in Robert, and one time we were in Detroit. And we were up there we were in the studio doing something. I think it was with Gladys, or he was doing some musical stuff with on one of his songs. And we would go out, and girls would come. Right, they knew Robert Dean, and we picked up a few girls. And when I say girls, I mean women. I mean teenage women.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't mean babies, please.
Right.
Robert didn't mess with babies with me. I didn't stand for that. Okay. Now, when we would pick up girls, we'd pick up young women, and we would go out and have fun. And
of course,
one of the guys, it was one of his girlfriends. And when we took her home, the guy was waiting for her.
Oh.
And was waiting at the house. You know, our jealous boyfriend, he was waiting.
Of course.
We had not did anything with this young lady. We had that. I don't know. They didn't do nothing in my sight. But at the same time, it was late at night. We dropped her off, and she got out the car, and this dude jumped out the car. And Rob got out the car. He said, "Hey, man, what's up? Johnny, what's this, man?" And I got out the car with him. I said, "What's going on, man?" I said, "Man, don't grab the woman, man," because he was been to be violent with her. And Robert said, "Man, don't let him touch that, man." And so I went over and knocked the dude out because he kept on coming at me talking crazy. And I don't be arguing. Fuck him. I don't do that. And we left after we left him. And there are certain other situations that happened that I had to, me and Robert have had some, go ahead.
I want to go back to the Drea Kelly because you mentioned that some of these women sitting up on the panel knew what was going on as if they're saying they're victims. We're not talking about the young girls, the pedophilia. We know that that is wrong. But let's talk about the grown women and what you saw. Now, there's two people in particular that people were talking about, Sparkle and Andrea. Andrea, rather.
I never. Okay, Andrea's wife. I know for a fact that she was a dancer.
Yes.
I know for a fact that she was submissive to Robert's. I don't want to say demands to Robert. What Robert asked him to do, she was submissive to that.
Okay. So you said she agreed to it, she wanted to do. Okay.
Robert, I don't know Robert to have a cult or to. I mean, it's not brainwashing. He just chooses people that think like he does, and he has. Robert is illiterate. Robert cannot. He can have fun with an older woman, and if they want to have sex with him, they want that. And Robert will do it with probably anybody, but older women liked him and were interested in him. But Robert was a young man, and he had a wild, his little head overruled his big head, and he couldn't be contained by a woman because he didn't have trust in women or people. But yet he was gentle to every woman that I've known Robert to be with.
Okay, back to Drea. Now you said she agreed.
Drea.
Yes.
Yeah, because Robert had three female dancers, and all three of them used to sleep in the same room with him.
Huh?
All three of them used to get off the show and go right to the bus like he asked them to. They all had a choice to leave because they used to come to me. Andrea, all of them used to come to me talking about what they would like to do, and I used to tell them to go to the mall. I said, y'all go ahead, man. Y'all don't got to stand. Go ahead. I'll take the weight for it. And because I used to tell them, and I said, I tell Robert, I told you to go. I dropped you off here. You see, well, I didn't think that you should. I think that you're a grown person and you're doing a job here. That's it. And Robert wanted to control everything that came in. Robert, we fell out a lot because I'm his tour manager. I'm his personal assistant. I have a job.
Yes.
He would not allow me to do my job. He wanted to do my job too. Robert wanted to control me to where
he controls everything.
He controlled everything. You see, we went on tour with Gerald Levert. We went on tour with LL Cool J, Salt and Pepper. It was always something, and I was always the one that kept it smooth. I had so much work to do. I didn't have time to really look at Robert and his activities. When we got to different cities, I took Robert to a mall in every city.
Okay. So let me say, but were you passing out those notes to the girls? Because now that's another thing that people are confusing you with, saying you're giving out those notes. Okay.
No. Okay. I didn't pass out any notes. What I did this was born into the 90s. This is when we first got started. This was the Born into the 90s tour. Then we went to the 12 play tour. During those times, Robert began, there was a lot of girls. And we would go to the mall in the early times. When I would go with him was to get him noticed. Hey, y'all, that's that guy that was on that radio. Ain't that R Kelly? That R Kelly dude. Robert needed to be built with confidence, and I was in the habit of doing that for him. I made people aware of him, and they would go flocking. And he would sign autographs and be shy and, act like, he was just shy, like, he's so sweet. He was deceptive.
I was about to say, that sounds like a deception.
Right. He was, but we didn't know this. You see, this is that demon in him. What's the devil's job? Steal, kill, destroy? He's in all of us. Do we allow him to stand strong? He stood strong in Robert. Robert is a light. This whole thing is not about him, but yet the truth must be revealed, or it's going to keep coming around because that's when God intervenes.
Okay, we're gonna go back to Drea. Why did he get married if he knew that he wasn't gonna be able to be with just one woman? As far as you know.
Why would a woman marry him? Knowing that he's always been with more than one woman? That's my question.
Lifestyle, the money.
But now you're complaining about these different women when she knew it. She knew what was going on with Robert. She stayed in the room just like them girls do. She did it.
But you stayed in the room.
When Robert she didn't talk to us anymore. We didn't have a relationship with Andrea and them. They couldn't really talk to us because that's what Robert had told them. And he told the band, hey man, y'all, we're not going to associate with other groups. when we go do concerts. We was on tour with Salt and Pepper. He didn't want nobody to associate with them. I did. His brother did. Bruce did. The band did. But the dancers and the girls, they weren't supposed to associate. You see,
Demetrius, can you please explain? Because I've heard that from multiple people. Why? What is the reason why people cannot talk? What is the issue? Because it makes no sense to the average person. Why wouldn't he let people talk?
Here's a person that has never been in control. Here's a person that has been abused all his life. Here's a person that has been called a dummy and illiterate, and now he's got power. This is something he's not used to, and now he sees the control. He got lost in that. A demon is controlling that. Again, when I keep saying stuff like that, I want you to know I'm not condoning Robert for what he did. I'm not condoning that demon in him to say that.
Yes.
And I'm not condoning that demon. I think he needs some help. And I don't think that, I think that he's being jumped on. I think it's unfair of what he's going through with the media, with the police, with the city. I think all that's unfair. I think that he should be able to sue everybody, in my respect. But this is all because he walks proud. I think that he should walk differently because of the things that has occurred that are true.
There's a lot of truth and lies mixed up, and I think some people are probably capitalizing on the fact that
the truth is Tiffany Hawkins. The truth is Aliyah.
Mm-hmm.
The video was thrown out, so that's gone. Now you got another little girl saying she was 14, 15, 16. Why isn't he arrested for that? That means there's something funny in that. You see?
What do you mean?
If you got a girl on TV saying he met her outside at the courthouse and he did this and that.
Oh, Geronda, yes.
Right. Now, why isn't he arrested for that? That was a violation. Can she prove it? And apparently she's on that show. And they haven't arrested him for her? Then
he had an agreement with her. He paid her off.
Then she shouldn't be on there then she shouldn't be on there. Then where does the law stand strong at? Then she shouldn't be on there. Okay, now
so you're saying it's a breach of contract for her to go speak on something?
Contract mean anything. I took Tiffany Hawkins to a state official. I thought that her obligation was to report this because she was a minor. Therefore, if he bought his way out, he bought his way out. Why couldn't Bill Cosby do the same? You see, if you could buy your way out of stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody's allowed him to get a pass. Now you want to take everything that he did in the past and redo him with it. That's wrong.
That's interesting. No, you got a good point. Everybody took a pass when they were getting the money, and now maybe that the money is funny. Now people are coming forward because now there's more to be gained to tell now. I mean,
why are you still talking about that girl? Why are you still talking about that girl in the tape and he's still with her? Why are you still talking about the Savage's daughter and she's still with him?
What do you mean? Wait. You said the girl in the tape is still with him. The young lady. I think they say Rashonda. I might have the name wrong. She's still with them?
Sparkles' niece.
She's still with them?
I've heard that she is. That's what I'm thinking. But if she's not, still, why they ain't talking to her? You see, why are you talking about Aliyah? We know that happened. He finally admitted that. He finally
sent his
lawyer up front to say that. Yes, he did. Okay, that's done. He did that. To me, I'm uncomfortable with Robert when it came to Aliyah because he did that and he should have stood honorable with Aliyah because Aliyah was a kid and we loved Aliyah.
Yes.
We loved her and I hurt over her. And I think that her family has gone through enough in respect to talking about her and talking about her mama being in the bed. That's done. Aliyah's not here to defend herself and her mother doesn't have the courage to do that. She's lost her husband. So let's leave Aliyah alone. Let's leave that subject alone, okay?
Yes. I understand.
Aliyah had no fault in this. None.
Mm-hmm.
She was a young child. And anything after that.
And it's sad that there's some people are dragging her name through the mud behind this. It's really sad, though, that part.
It's really sad.
You know.
Those people don't have any, that's that spirit in us. That same spirit that's controlling Kelly has gotten strong. We all have it in us, y'all.
Okay, let's go back
to a man that's ugly. Okay.
Let's go back to Sparkle. Now, she just did an interview yesterday on the Breakfast Club, and she says that she did. Well, I don't want to say, and all of this stuff. I'm going to say allegedly, because it's not my story to tell. This is your story, a book you wrote 10 years ago about your life that included R. Kelly. But she said that she didn't have a relationship with R. Kelly, a sexual, or she alluded to that. Some people are calling me yes. Did she or didn't you from what you saw? Okay.
I did not know Sparkle. I knew Earl, who was a member of Public Announcement. I knew that Earl quit the group. I knew after that Robert was producing Sparkle and that I know Robert. And then I heard that Robert had an affair with Sparkle. And
were you around during that time?
Yes.
Were you around? Oh, okay.
No, I was out. I had just left.
Okay.
I just left.
But close enough to know what was going on, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know that Robert had seduced Sparkle, and I know that it broke Earl's wedding marriage up. Robert has hurt some people. I mean, even the people that supported me, Robert, there was infidelity there. However, Robert was young, and I put that on them because they were older. Mm-hmm. So that was another form of abuse. Okay, now, they should deal with the same things Robert's dealing with in respect to looking at people as being pedophiles. Okay, even me in dealing with women sometime when I was younger. My children's mother was younger. I'm not hiding from my past because I grew to make me a better man. I walked through some things that I'm not proud of.
Mm-hmm.
But it made me the man I am today. I sought understanding in the things that I did wrong and why I did them. I fought my demons. Robert Kelly has never fought his demons. Andrea, his wife, she knew her husband. She knew him. Okay, he did not just start doing this. And again, I can't say what they went through behind closed doors in respect to how they their relationship of abuse. But I know Robert can get mad just like any other man. And if you're set in certain ways and you do certain things for a certain length of time, then you get tired of doing something. But that opportunity to leave is always available. Robert is not holding anyone hostage.
So you don't believe that he kept the women? You don't believe he kept the women and wouldn't allow them to leave and not feed them? Because now that seems. I mean, let's be honest. Why would they lie and say, "Oh, he didn't let me eat for 3 days"? Like, who makes up a story like that, Demetrius?
I'm gonna tell you this. I had an artist. Her name was Shannon. Shannon was a Caucasian, was a white girl. And very talented young girl. She lived in South Bend, Indiana. I met her out there at a Builder Square, and I wasn't with Robert anymore. And now I was trying to find myself, and I ran across Shannon and heard her singing, and I was like, wow, this white girl can go. And so I took Shannon under my wing, and I thought about it. I said, well, I ain't working with Robert. Maybe he'll produce her for me, right? And we were still cool. We were still on talking terms. I just didn't want to work with him no more because it was still buck wild, meaning that he was still girl crazy. And I think every entertainer does that when they're young. Yes. But Robert was older, but his mind was young. Now, when I took Shannon to Robert, I told Shannon, I said, Shannon, Robert's going to want you to stay in the studio with him. He's going to want to do this and that. He's going to want to. Next thing you know, you'll be staying overnight. And then when you do that, Shannon, you're not going to get anything done. Now, I'm your representative. Please listen to me when it comes to Robert. I want you to go in there today. He's going to like you because one thing, you're super cute. Two, you can sing. Now he's going to say, okay, Johnny, I'm going to work with you. She's going to stay tonight because he's going to want to seduce you. He's going to want to control you. And she wouldn't listen to me because next time I come to pick her up after I know he'd been with her all day. And she was over 18. And he come, and her name was Shannon. Shannon in South Bend, Indiana. So if she hears this, Shannon, get in touch with me. And and Shannon stayed in that room when Robert. I came back for her, and no, I'm gonna stay. He's cool. He said, I'm gonna stay tonight. I'm gonna stay up here, and we're gonna work some more later. I said, Shannon, you need to leave. We need to leave. We need to hold. We need to take control of it. You need to trust me. She didn't, and so it went on for weeks, and she stayed in that room. But that was her choice. He talked her into it, and she fell for him. And, you believe that you're going to get this and that. I did the same thing for years. I was with him before he made it. He didn't produce one song on me. And Robert told me many times, man, keep sweating them, ain't got nothing on you. Marvin Gaye and them can't touch you, man. But he didn't produce it.
Let me say this. That's why I think your story is compelling, is because even though these ladies have a story, some of them were with him for a year, 6 months, 8 months. You were with this man for 10 years. So I know you have to know. Let me ask you this. When did you see, because we talked about this, I want you to talk about the sex me. When you, I don't have my.
No, I'm talking to my friend.
Okay. The sex me. Tell me about the sex me when you saw the change in him.
Again,
and then we could wrap up.
I didn't know what I was looking at when we were in Detroit, when Robert came to me with videos. And these were not videos of little girls. These were videos that he had took having affairs with different women that we, VCRs that just came out when Robert got his deal. He bought him a camera, and he went crazy with taping everything around him. But he didn't tape us. He taped what he did behind his closed doors. Robert bought nothing but, all while we was on the road, Robert, every store we went to, Robert bought pornographic tapes.
Was he a sex addict? Sound like a sex addict.
He's a sex addict. He's possessed by a sex demon.
Sounds like it.
Nothing else destroys the insides of you more than sex.
Okay, talk about that sex me. Talk about that sex me song. Tell me about that.
When he brought me the videos, we prayed because he said, man, I feel like this is going to destroy me. Robert felt this early in his career.
Wow.
I'm talking about this is when we met Aliyah. This is when we met Aliyah, that he bought a tape, and we were in Detroit staying at Barry Hankerson's house. And he told us that. Then he came in my room that night talking about this tape and how tapes had a control on him. He felt like it. And so we prayed, and that's what I thought prayer was. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just felt like prayer was what we supposed to do. That bonded us, because Robert is very spiritually. Now, that was in Detroit. I didn't know what we was doing. I didn't know where I was at. That, again, is inside the book. Now when we go to Sex Me, that tape, that song came up where I said, man, Mom don't want me to do this song, man. I kind of don't want to either, John. This song is, man, it's deep, man. It's got something. It's like, man. And I said, well, Rob, don't put that song out. I said, cause I ain't gonna let my daughter sing "Sex Me," Rob. You see, I didn't have children then, but this again, my daughter was here then. But and that brought Robert. That brought controversy. That song, and I really didn't want him to put it out because Robert was writing different songs than he wrote when he met me. See, when I had Robert under my wing, he was writing different. I got songs right now that Robert wrote back in the day that nobody never heard. You know?
Wow, you should put them out. I'm sure people want to hear.
No, I can't. Those are his songs. I know. Those are his songs. Okay. I'm not trying to do that.
But the Sex Me song, you said
the Sex Me was a demonic song. It was a demonic spirit. Everything about it was demonic, and it created. That's when he came out. That's when he came out. Now, again, I left him. I got another time that I could tell you that I saw this beast. I heard him right here. And that was when we were, I got to get out. But that's where we were in, I had left him in 95, and I stayed gone for about a year and a half. And Daryl McDavid called me and said, man, Robert wanted to see you. And because, again, man, Robert had a bond, man, and I made things happen for Robert. And when Daryl called me, said meet him. I went down to the studio to meet him. And again, that same girl that was in that I Wish video was in the studio. And she was laying on the couch giving him some head. When I walked in that studio. I mean, just casual, like, not like freak, like, you know, they was just like casual, just like you laying there looking at a movie, eating some popcorn. That's the way she was with him. You know, and I'm like, hold on, Rob, man. Hold on, Rob. I ain't coming for this, man. Come on, man. Because I just got saved. Saved in church.
Right, you must see all that.
I was at the Greater First Baptist Church in South Chicago, Indiana. My pastor gave me the back of the church to live in with my children. I had 4 children, single man. And I went down to meet Robert that day. And Robert, I met him. And then after that, we talked and he let me hear a few songs. I forgot the songs he let me hear because they later came out. But then after that, I left because I was uncomfortable with this girl and they're giving him that. And then he got to show me a few songs. After that, I was ready to leave. He said, I want you back, man. And I told him, man, and he had to pay me because if he didn't pay me, he wasn't going to let me work. You see, if he gave me a little bit of change, then he's going to want to control me. But if he's paying me big money, then he's going to let me do what I'm supposed to do. And,
okay, so
he said, man, you're going to have to start over. It's like you have to start over. I have to gain your trust again. I'm going to where you want me to go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go where you want me to go.
You told me you have to go. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I'm talking about let me finish and take you where you asked me to go. You asked me about the band, and I'm going to take you to the restaurant.
Yes. Okay.
Just take you someplace before that. Now, when we got to, I left that night, and then Robert called me back again and told me to meet him down at Wacker Drive at a big health facility on Wacker Drive downtown. I went down there. It was a crowded facility. Robert was in the back. Robert was sitting at a table, and I sat at the next table because he had two women with him. The women, one was looking at me, smiling, and like, who is this and that. And Robert looked at me like maybe I was flirting with them. So he jumped up and said, let me holler at you, man. Let me holler at you, man. And so as we walked toward the bathroom, again, this is a crowded facility. And we walked toward the bathroom, and we went into the bathroom. People was coming out. And once we got in there, I said, what's up, man? And he said, man, the Spirit of the Lord is on me. And I started praising God because on my way there, I had been praying that Robert let me do my job with him if he wanted me to work with him. Because I wanted to stop, all the backstage. I wanted us to grow up. I wanted him to grow up. And it's like who was that I saw? I saw a video the other day with Jay-Z. He is so cool. And he said about the Born into Both, the Both Worlds.
Yeah,
tour.
that's the Both Worlds tour, yes.
And Jay-Z said he blew an opportunity. It was an opportunity there to really have something special. And that was great. That was great. That was what Robert has blown a lot of opportunities. And so when we got in that bathroom, he said, the Spirit of the Lord is on me. And so I prayed. And I thank Jesus for this, God. I said, Lord, He's going to let me in. He's going to let me in. We're going to do this holy thing. We're going to raise people. We're going to be, because I feel like an attorney being out there with all those people, he's got power.
Yeah, you have a platform.
Right, he's got a platform. So Robert, we started praying together. And next thing you know, we both speaking in tongues. I'm talking about, man, speaking in tongues in such a way, it was like lovely, man. It just felt wonderful. It felt, and I listened to Robert speak in tongues, and I was like, at all, because I had never heard nobody speak in tongues like him, and it was like a real conversation.
Wow.
That he was talking to someone, right? Now, we both did this, and I feel joyful. And next thing I know, Robert is backing up into a stall, to the toilet door, and the toilet stall door closes. Bam! And the toilet stall closes. I'm looking like, huh? And then all of a sudden I hear another voice, and it's, and I got scared. Yeah, it was a demonic voice, and I got scared. And when Robert, he did that for a few minutes, again, we were in this bathroom for about 30 or 40 minutes, and nobody came in there. Nobody. And then when Robert came out that stall, I asked him, and he looked tall. He looked different.
Wow.
And he looked tall. He stood up. He's like, I said, Rob, what was that, man? He said, oh, man. And basically all I saw was his back. I didn't see his face no more when he came out that stall. And so he walked in front of me. And I'm like, Rob, what? He didn't really talk. He said, oh, man, Spears is heavy, man. And he kept walking. And he's been walking ever since. And then, now to let you know this, I told my bishop about it, Bishop Tavis Grant. And he can witness that. I'm telling you the truth. I told him about what went on in that bathroom. And he said, I ran across a heavy spirit. And he said, we're going to have to pray over you because an ounce of fear will let that spirit in you. And it did. Because after that, I started having different affairs at church that I had never encountered. I mean, people were just coming. Certain women were just coming at me. It was like, it's like spirits that recognized each other, and they were coming out of those people. That sex demon, it was coming, and I was having sex with several women at the church, and it bothered me because it was new to me. Not that I didn't have sex, but I don't spread myself thin like that. And it was beginning to get fun. It was possessing me. Everywhere I walked, I felt horny. Everywhere I walked, I felt like I was having sex. I felt I was in that mode, but yet I wasn't with anybody. So That
That
spirit
R
got
Kelly
into me.
spirit is deep. That's.
It ain't R
I know
Kelly
you.
spirit. That R Kelly spirit. You're exactly right. That demon in him is strong. And and then at that time I was called by Barry Hankerson, and I was having trouble because at that time that videotape came out of Robert and that little girl. And Barry called me and asked me if I wanted. He was glad to hear from me and asked me if I wanted to work with Background Records, and I did because I wasn't really working. And so he allowed me to work at Background from my house at church, and later brought me to L.A. And I was in hopes that I was going to work with Aliyah again, and she died on that plane. And
Demetrius,
I haven't
let me ask
been
you
out
this:
since.
Did you testify at the trial?
No.
Okay.
No.
I know you said you had to go. You have to go. So do you have time to answer a couple more questions, or can I do a part two with you? Okay.
I got it.
So no.
I'm comfortable. I really want this to get out in respect to
lifetime. What I need you. Okay. So people are saying that you made a comment about R. Kelly wanting to sleep with you. Now, clarify that. Did you say that?
I did. I'm sorry I said that. I meant it I felt like Robert meant it in a joking way. You see?
Okay.
I mean, it's like me and I got friends and we go out on a weekend. When me and my friends, when we were younger, we would go out and they had streaking. People were streaking.
Yes. I remember
running
that.
across,
yes.
my friends did that before. That's all that
right.
was to me. And when the guy asked me, I'm going to remember his name because I will never talk to him again because that was low down. He talked about so many other good things. It's just like
right.
Lifetime. Lifetime talked about, they asked me some of those same questions about Robert and they didn't put none of those things on there.
So when Lifetime approached you, you didn't know that they were building a case about his sexual misconduct in this
cult? No, I did not. No,
okay.
I did not.
Well, that's important.
And I was not knowledgeable enough to ask them to let me see this before they aired it. See? And I felt like they should have gave me a ticket to come down to the preview as well. But they didn't.
You didn't get to go see the preview?
No. I didn't know anything. I did the interview and, they congratulated me, say how great it was, and they made me look bad, But I'm not mad at them because the truth has to come to the light.
I don't think you look bad. I think I didn't get that you look bad. I felt that you spoke your truth.
Well, Google my name. Comments, so people call me a bunch of everything, but they don't know that I was not with Robert at this time. But again, those girls that were on that panel, they know what they were. Robert is some people call him, Robert was a gentleman with women, and I know that, and he will soften them, and he's kind to them, and he gives them what they want. So he's the kind of man that wants to be in control. He wants to be the head, and here's a head that's not fully functional. That's all I got to say. And not just, I don't know the medical term to use for his condition, but he has a deep condition, and it deals with his molestation as a kid, and it deals with the pedophileness, and it deals with his illiteracy.
Demetrius, I think the medical term people are using right now is pedophile. That's the first medical term.
Well, you got to look at a pedophile. When a pedophile is a person that, if a person is a pedophile and he likes kids, that's who he likes. Yes. Right? Now, yes. Robert is a person that's illiterate. Robert is a person that's been through abuse, and Robert don't like kids. The older Robert gets, the older his women get, because that's the mentality. Right now, so Robert might be
like a 19-year-old.
Robert might be 22 years old in the mind, so he can deal with a woman that is 18, 19. You see? Wow. They say a woman is faster than a man thinking, right? Yeah. That's what they say. Say a woman is faster. So it sounds like you
sound like he has arrested development, like he got stuck mentally and emotionally in his teenage years for some reason.
Well, Robert is molded. Robert is made. He's a person that has a gift. That is, his gift it looks like an anointing. It's really a miraculous thing for a person to be able to live what he does and sing it the way he does. That's his conversation. If you look at his interviews are singing. That's how he talks. That's how he describes himself, and how he does that. It's put inside of him. See, But his songs are his spirit. You see, that's the only thing that escapes out of him that's good. Everything else is the ugliness.
It sounds like a gift and a curse, but you touched on something else. We talked previously. I mean, we've talked a lot now, so I'm probably not asking you everything because you told me so much. But one of the things we talked about, I said, well, is this Illuminati? Because it sounds so weird. But you made a point about, I want you to talk about him, the man, like if he weren't more dead or alive. You said he's in a dangerous place right now. Can you elaborate on that, what you mean? You mentioned that before. I thought that was really good.
Well, that's my opinion, and I think that he is in a dangerous place. I think that he is in a dangerous place because the judicial system has found him not guilty, and the people have found him. The people are asking him to answer, and he is not. Therefore, it's like I told you I'm spiritual, and I read my Bible a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Like when it comes to Jesus, and they took Jesus to Pontius Pilate, and he said, "This man has committed no crime. We find him not guilty. And what do y'all want me to do?" And then the people crucified Jesus. And see, that's the same. I mean, we all walk in biblical ways if you understand the Bible, and because I don't want to go spiritual on you, but we all walk in biblical ways, and Robert Kelly is being, I am not condoning, please, I want y'all to understand me, man, because people are saying a minute, he's loyal to the, I am loyal, and I do have a history with Robert Kelly, and two things in life that never change, love and the truth, they do not change. I do love Robert Kelly because I do have a history with him, and I do want the best for him. And right now, for me, in my opinion, the best for him is to talk to somebody professional. Now, he has to be willing for that. He has to be willing. And I would love to sit and talk with Robert because of my history with him.
Yes, and your history.
How I am with him is different than anybody that he's associating with. And I know that.
So you want him to get help. That's what you sounds like you're saying.
I mean, you already found him not guilty, so why y'all bothering him on that? We all should have whooped his butt a long time ago for things he'd done to us. You see, I should have whooped him when he crossed me, but he was a young kid, so I blame that on the older one. Earl should have kicked his ass for messing with his wife. I should have whooped his ass when Tiffany told me that he did that. He don't get no punishment for nothing, then you ain't did nothing. Then
what about
okay.
What about Aliyah's uncle?
I felt like, again, when it comes to Aliyah, and I did take her to get an ID, I knew that there was something coming after that. When Robert married Aliyah, he wanted to go in the back and say bye-bye because we had to go catch a plane. I didn't allow that. I didn't care if he was married. I wasn't going to stand by and watch him sleep with her. I wasn't going to do that. I watched him give her a hug and kiss, and that was it, and we left. We got back on that plane, and we went back to where we were performing at.
Yeah,
when we got back there, I was disappointed in Robert because it was another thing that he did not do in honor of Aliyah. You see, you just got married, man. You see, you did a dumb thing. Now you should stand up on that. See, if you did that for this reason, why aren't you standing up on it? Robert doesn't have any shame in what he's done, and I'm not upholding him for that.
You brought up a great point. People are saying, now this is something I really would like for you to address. People are saying that you said he married her because she was pregnant. Did you say that?
Yes. I was on the plane, and Robert, I was disgusted when, we were doing the show when he told me, he said, man, Leah in trouble, and we got to go to Chicago. And I told him I was going to call Barry. He said, man, please don't call Barry. We can't call Barry. Now, granted, I've been with Robert for 10 years. I just met Barry. You see?
Okay.
So,
yes.
I want to hold on until Robert tell me what's going on before I call Barry. That's why I didn't call Barry.
Yeah.
Now, he still didn't tell me. The show went on for an hour, so I'm doing my after-show things, picking up the money, getting everybody settled, because I'm not going to be here for the next set, for the next place we're at, so I got to make sure that's all ready and gone. And then when it's 5:30 in the morning, we got to get on this plane, you see. So now I'm like, whoa, man, I'm so tired. I ain't had no sleep in 3 days because Robert worked the hell out of me, man. You see, and Robert worked the hell out of me, man. And then I get to the next city, Chicago, 5:30 in the morning. I go meet with Daryl and them, and they talking about what they want to do. And I'm like, man, y'all can't do this, man. This is not the thing to do. Let's call Barry. There, I should have just called Barry and say, man, we in Chicago with Aliyah, man. They talking about marrying her, man. That would have stopped it.
Yeah, it would have stopped it, yes.
That would have stopped it, you see. If she was pregnant, then all that would have been, that's why I felt like Robert should have been more, he should have, but I went along with them because I just didn't think they was going to go through this, man. And then it kept developing, and next thing you know, they did this. And when I think about Aliyah, I smile or I'll cry every time.
Yeah.
Because Aliyah was a joy to me. Every time I think about Aliyah, I see her smile, and she was always fun. She was a fun little girl. She was. Her smile was large, and she was youthful, and she was expressed happiness. She was happy, and her and Robert, and when they used to go together, they were happy. Her mom's with her, or her dad, or her brother. I've never seen Aliyah. I don't remember a time when Aliyah was on the tour bus with us. I just don't remember that. And when Earl said that Robert had sex with her, they didn't tell me that. Had they told me that, I would have acted on that, man.
Well, you know, that's like kids keep a lot of stuff. You were probably the parent figure, and kids do things that they don't let you know. That's with anybody, you know.
They began to take me, and when Robert took his boys on the road, I had a talk with every one of them that grew up with him. You know, Tori, Mouse, everybody that hung around. And and I told them on the road, hey, man, we can't do this, man, because there's too many young girls, and you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that, man. Let's raise ourselves up into a professional way. And they agree with me. Next thing you know, Robert got a new set of guys on the road because he's not paying nobody, so we can't go. The other guys couldn't go with him. One guy was his stylist who was his friend. Robert didn't want to pay him. He couldn't make it on the road with $250 a week. And now you get a professional stylist and you're giving them $1,500 a week when your boy is a top dresser. You see, when your other friend, Robert has hurt some people. And those parts we all let him get passes with. And that hurt him.
Sounds like he's hurt you too. Sounds like he's hurt you too.
He's hurt me a lot, man. I gave him, it was my fault. And just like those girls, they had the same opportunity to leave. I stayed in the same situation, but I didn't stay in rooms. I locked my career up, man. I could have been a hell of a singer, man. You know, I still have a voice. It's not tuned, but I was competition for R. Kelly. And Robert Kelly is a jealous person, man. Just like him, just a whole lot. I wrote a whole lot in that book, y'all. It's a good book. I've gotten great comments on it, but people are judging me before they read that book. And it's not to discredit. It's not to hurt R. Kelly. And when I wrote this book years ago, Tom Joyner, Steve Harvey, Wendy Williams, all those shows had it because Fox News did a big article on it. And they did not recognize it because that was a time to watch Robert and to help him. That's all it was. It was to help him, man. I've never sought to hurt Robert Kelly. I'm not trying to hurt him now. I don't condone what he's done, but I understand what he did. And
you understand?
I understand him as a person. See, I look at people from a different way that you look at them. See, I see people. I've been locked in. I did 5 years, 4 months, 63 days inside the Solano State Prison in Los Angeles. When I got out of there, I lived on the streets. See, because I didn't have a way. And I didn't have no money, and I ain't had no support. Ain't nobody helped me with nothing. Robert Kelly ain't never did nothing for me. Okay? Nothing. But discredit me and dishonor me and show me no loyalty.
What would you say to him if you could what would you say to him? We're going to wrap it up here because you have given me a lot of your time, and I appreciate you. I'm not going to edit this. I'm going to put it out there raw because you got to say some things that you wanted to say. What would you say to R. Kelly or Robert Kelly? Which one would you talk to? Would you talk to Robert or would you talk to R. Kelly? Let's say that. And what would you say?
I would love to go and talk to R. Kelly. I would love to go and meet with Robert, R. Kelly, because you got to get to Robert through R. Kelly now. And see, if I could sit down with R. Kelly, I can touch bases with Robert because that demon know that I heard his voice. He know that I know he's existing, and I know how strong he is. But see, that same strength that he has, that same strength is in me on the other side. See, me and Robert were God don't do nothing for nothing, and He don't put nobody in your life for nothing. It's to grow from, and it's just like marriage. I want to say something about Andrea. I'm disappointed in Robert because of the way his family is. I love his family, and his family don't know him. And he's the head of his family, but don't know how to be the head because nobody's helped him. And when it comes to Andrea, his wife, I just don't think I have never been married. And I don't think, and if I was a young guy and I saw a woman on TV talking against her husband, her ex-husband like that, I would be afraid to get married because I think that what you do in the household and marriage should stay in there. I don't think that you should be able to come out and talk against your husband and tell what you went through with him and not tell the whole truth. And if he was so terrible to her, I think that she should have called the police and had several records to show how abusive he was. And to the other girls, I just think that y'all were talked into a web that had control of your mind, and you wanted that limelight. You wanted to be a star, and you took your focus off of yourself and you gave it to a man that was not used to doing things and not used to having power, and he learned how to have people under him, and he grew into having that control. If I was a rich man and had a lot of money and was a big star, if I met the right one woman, that's who I would be with. But if I didn't, then I wouldn't have no little girls. I mean,
he manipulated a lot of people.
Beautiful. Yes, he has.
He manipulated
that's the devil's job.
Yeah.
That's the devil's job. Robert ain't smart enough to be doing what he's doing. He's got to have an assistant, and the things that he are doing are beastly. Now, I'm not saying what he's doing behind closed doors with them girls in bed is a terrible thing. I mean, people do different things back in the bedroom. I got you see, and they my business. You see, they my business. You know, as far as that tape where that man said he was a homo, that he tried to have sex with me. He did not try to have sex with me.
I'm glad
he was acting super silly. He was acting super silly, and we laughed about it, and this man put that on the internet.
Yes.
That's the devil. See, the devil wanted to throw a wrench in there. That's a wrench at me.
Because they're taking your words and making it sound like he's homosexual or bisexual. So you should clear that up.
Probably. And what you are in your bedroom is your business. That's your business. And that's the same thing with them girls that's on that panel. Now, anybody that was a minor, Robert, you're wrong for messing with minors. But I haven't seen a record of him messing with one since this case, since that last girl that says he met her out of court. And I haven't known him. That means the older he gets, the older his women get. So now you got to look at his intellect. Let's look at
his women are getting older, maybe because he doesn't want to
he's getting
jail.
older. He's getting older. He's growing. Here's a kid that wasn't a teenager until he got 35 years old. Now he's 17 in the mind. Robert is a creator. Robert is a writer. I'm not trying to make him sound, but I'm not going to say that. But Robert has issues, and I wish that Robert would talk to someone and sincerely, with no conditions to where your money can't buy you out of this. And I think that's what the people want. I think the people want him to
get some help.
They want to see his heart. They want to see his heart because what they see of him and what these people are showing of him is a monstrous character. But Robert is a gentle person, really. He's a selfish person. But again, that's all that beast is in him because he's doing everything that a beast does. Steal, kill, and destroy. He has stolen people's careers. He has killed people's dreams, and he has destroyed families. But he is not aware of this truth.
That sounds horrible, Demetrius. That's horrible.
I'm just telling you the truth, man. That's
a horrible
Job.
person.
It's the devil. It's not Robert. It's the devil. That's all he's learned. His goodness is his song. We all have good and evil. We all do. We all do. But how strong is that evil in you? If you have no discipline, and you're not punished for the things that you do, then you're going to grow up evil. If I shoot you in the leg and you don't do nothing about it, and I run into another situation like that, and I shoot you in the leg and you fix it up and clear it up, and I shoot you and kill you, now I'm growing in this. I don't care nothing about shooting you. I don't feel nothing. I didn't have to deal with that spirit. You see.
Okay.
And it's a spirit in a man that's evil. So And when you look at it like that, that's a sickness that we can help to fix. And then you have to look at people, not just Robert Kelly. We have to look at each other from high. See, my direction and my thoughts and my heart goes up to the Lord, to my Creator. And I try to have an understanding with Him. And when I have an understanding with Him, and what the Bible teaches me is that He loves us all. And if He loves us all and I'm looking up from Him, and then when I look at Him and I study Him, then He gives me His eyes. And then I begin to look out. But I'm looking from high at you. I'm looking from up at you. And I love you.
Demetrius, I think what people, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but one thing is I know God loves us all and He forgives us, but we still sometimes will be punished for our sins. And so I think that's what people want is for Him to get some help, but there's still some punishment attached. I'm not the person to make the decision.
But that's not your job to punish Him. That's
what I said.
You got to answer to God. Now, the system will lock them up, and they're going to cut off the gift. See, now that's the devil winning. That's the devil winning because you cut off the gift. Can you imagine what this boy is going to write once he goes through some treatment, some unconditional treatment where his money can't say you can come out? Not that we want him to go to jail to do this because he won't come out because they just ugly. Again, I don't think Bill Cosby should be in jail, but who's standing to fight for him? But yet we love him. Man, if I was Bill Cosby, I'd have went to I'd have went and hired. I'd have gave Farrakhan a few $1 billion. We finna do some separation now. Now I ain't finna go to jail with you, motherfucker.
Farrakhan talked to R. Kelly. Farrakhan already talked to R. Kelly.
And he said a spiritual thing that he took it to where it should be. Because for that man to write the way he does, God's got to be all up in him. Now, if God's all up in him and you believe that, then we have to look at him as God looks at him. And God loves us all. When we look at our children and we neglect them, God will take them from us because we all belong to Him. And when He takes them from us, then it gives us, then we left with guilt to say, where did we go wrong at? Because we neglected to love His child as He loves him. And that's how we all are with each other. So let me get out of here because I know
you got another interview coming up, and I appreciate your time, and I will chat with you later. Thank you, Demetrius.
God bless you. Thank you.
Repeat the name of your book.
I also want to say that the name of my book is The Man Behind the Man Looking from the Inside Out. I'm setting up a website that, a YouTube page that's going to allow people that purchase my book to answer questions, to have a one-on-one with me, to talk to me, and I'll answer their questions.
And I'll also
the people that have purchased my book because
your PR rep also indicated that you were going to be doing a re-release of the book, some annotations and updates. So stay tuned for that, people.
My book is not a book to destroy Robert Kelly. I love Robert Kelly as a Robert. This demon is in him, and I want to have a one-on-one with him and kick his ass. Let me get out of here. God bless you, keep you. And I think that I just want to say to everybody that I apologize for my actions with Aliyah, that I was younger and I wasn't as wise as I am now. And I wish I could have did better. And everybody take care, and let's look at each other from a different eye.
Okay.
Because somewhere down the line, we're all connected and we're all responsible for each other. Okay? God bless you.
Yes.
Thank
all right.
You
Thank you for the interview.
This call is now being recorded.
Google got video too.
Okay,